Hi guys, welcome back to Irish Footy Vlogs. Welcome back to another show of ours, and you would have guessed by the thumbnail, etc., etc. This is a bit of a debate. Bohs and Shamrock Rovers, Daz will play each other at the Aviva Stadium on Sunday, the 16th of February, which is Valentine's weekend at 2 p.m. Now, this one I heard might have been happening a week ago, but I'm not going to lie, I thought it was a piss take, if I'm
Yeah,
honest with you.
yeah.
So when it was announced today, I personally was very surprised at it. I was taken aback as well a little bit, and I suppose I had some thoughts and opinions. I've had a few hours to think about it properly now, and most of my thoughts and opinions do stand though, so I'm not backing away from my thoughts and opinions.
Oh,
But I see the merits, let's say. But you're here basically to hype it up, basically, and tell us why
yeah,
you
big
think it.
time.
Why do you think it's fantastic? And the floor is yours.
Well, it's going to be celebrated both its 135th anniversary of being a football club. I believe it's the 110th year we'll be playing, if every against Shamrock Rovers or the 110th meeting. I might get that wrong with one of them anyway. I think it's the 110th meeting in the league.
110 meeting, I'd say, yeah.
Like, it is a big occasion. And look, oh God, it is a bit, tin pot in a way that's not a cup final. It's not. And people are saying it's our cup final. I guess it is. But what I will say is, it's a showpiece for the league. It's the opening weekend of the league. There's so many
Why
fans that
is it a
want to go.
showpiece for the league? Though, why is it a showpiece
It's
for the league?
yeah, it's people right. This is people won't agree with this, but Bohs and Rovers are the two biggest clubs in Dublin and potentially the two biggest, in my opinion, in the league, throughout the league.
Hmm.
Bohs might not have been hitting the heights in the last few years, but
Hmm.
they're the oldest football club in the
Yeah.
Republic. They've never been relegated from the league. They're steeped in history. So, well, Rovers have been relegated, but they're also steeped in history and have had really good seasons
Just
the
get that
last.
in there, is it?
Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah, and they've had really good, winnings in the last few years. Like obviously won like 4 leagues in a row. They were up there in Europe. They've done a lot of really good things. But apart from all that, one thing I want to say is obviously, running the Bows page, I get so many messages for tickets for every match.
Hmm.
But when it's Bows against Rovers, I mean, my phone is hopping out for tickets. People wanting tickets, wanting to bring their mate from work, they want to bring their family who's home from America or England. And it so happened to be home that weekend. And it's Bows and Rovers, it's not a ticket to be got. Like,
Hmm.
there's not. And they only come up
No,
last minute.
I'm going to go across at this point. That's fair enough, and I get that. I get that Daily Mount doesn't have the capacity to hold these fixtures, etc., etc. But there are other grounds, other teams that are selling out every week as well. You know what I mean? So you have that as well. But and I do get that. But at the same time, it's the Aviva Stadium. It's obviously, it's the home of the Republic of Ireland, basically, when it comes to soccer, the rugby and all that. Forget about that for a minute when it comes to soccer. But I always saw it as a showpiece event that you have to earn your stripes, basically, to play at the Aviva. And one of those is the cup final. You earn your stripes, you get to the cup final, you're rewarded by playing at the Aviva. And maybe in Europe, I can accept that as well. In Europe, no problem whatsoever. You've kind of earned that a little bit as well, earned the right. But for me personally, Shamrock Rovers and Bohemians haven't earned the right to play, a match of the Aviva in a league game on the first day of the season. Now, as I said, I get some of the merits that you'll probably talk about as well, money, etc., all that kind of stuff. I get it, but it's a league game, and maybe I'm traditionalist as well. But I think league games should be left to, you play each other home and away twice in this league, for example, as we do, etc., etc. You'd argue the fairness of the situation, etc., to other teams. You know what I mean? Other teams that play home and away, blah blah blah. Bowls themselves are giving up their
Yeah,
home.
I was gonna say I
Go
get
on.
that, but we're giving up our home, like to play in Dalymount Park. We're
Hmm.
giving that up.
Hmm.
That's going to be one game this season for the whole league. We're not going to be Dalymount Park for that we have chosen not to be for. It's got also a game against Rovers that we've decided to not be there for. So we're giving up
And you've beaten
commercial
Rovers
sales.
twice at Dalymount last season, I
Yeah,
think.
in the cup, and in the
Yeah.
league, and that was what two of our only wins out of like what 10 or something like that. Like that's a high statistic when you're
Hmm.
talking of that low numbers
Hmm.
against Rovers to win.
Hmm.
We're giving up that to go to the Aviva
Hmm.
in a much bigger pitch where there'll be loads more fans there.
Hmm.
But like what I want to say is we have to try and embrace the league with change. Like we need this league to grow, and
Hmm.
it is growing. It's growing year on year, and
Hmm.
people years ago when they were watching the channel have said when we were talking about when LOI TV came out for good during COVID, this will affect attendances. I was saying it won't, because if you're going to go to the match, you're going to go, and it didn't. People still get it. I get it every year. The delight, it's there. I always watch the team that we're going to play following week back on it. It has not affected attendances, and that's brought the league on. People get it, people buy it, people watch it. Fans now throughout the league have the opportunity to go to this match. The Aviva Stadium holds so much people. Rovers could have only brought, I think it was something like 400 or 500 to the mono stand. They're gonna like bring 10 times that amount, if not way more this time. Like when we were playing Rovers in Rovers, that was 10,000.
I get that, Daz, but if that's the case, then could you not argue then for every game almost, or maybe every Bows and Rovers game should be at the Aviva and shouldn't bother playing them at Tal Stadium or Daily at all? Or St. Patrick's Athletic, say they sell out, and which they do sell out, and other clubs are selling out as well, etc. Should they not play their home ground then because they're selling out? So my attitude here is exactly. I'll let you come in now. My attitude here is where does this go? You know what I mean? Where does it end? Is this it? You know what I mean?
Like people will say this is a biased thought, and I guess that people will think this, but in my opinion, Bows v Rovers will always be the biggest game in the league, unless it's a title decided tonight against Pats and whoever else.
Well, in terms of attendance, if you talk about an ordinary league game, so to speak, Bows and Rovers would have a higher attendance than anyone else.
Absolutely.
I agree 100% with that, though.
Like, it's the opening weekend of the league. The RT, I presume, are going to show this match. It'd be great if there's tens of thousands of tickets sold for this. We have given up our home advantage against Rovers. It's on a Sunday, so other fans throughout the league have the opportunity to come and go to this. Ordinarily, they wouldn't. And I know
the other factor to throw in there, notoriously, the games on Sunday aren't well supported. Now, I get that again, this is a little bit different, but in terms of, I got some games on Sunday when I get the chance to go to games Sunday, and the atmosphere can be poor. But
this is the opening.
It's Valentine's weekend. Huh?
This is the opening weekend with loads of notice for it. It hasn't just been sprung on us. It's not a fixture change. People know about this. It's in people's calendars. They're going, and that's it. And I think it's a really good chance for new fans that come to the league to embrace it, to go to the
ticket prices, though. What are you thinking there?
Yeah, that's interesting.
What are they going to do there, do you think?
Yeah,
do they have to go with the same as they would at Dalymount Park, say €20, let's say, as an example, or what do you think? Should they reduce it actually to 15 to try and get more people in?
I think it'd be a great incentive to actually reduce the tickets. Obviously, finances, it has to be viable, as in it has to make enough to open the stadium and turn the lights on and have the match on and pay everybody first.
Because devil's advocate, it would be a disaster, and this isn't necessarily my opinion here, but it would be a disaster if, just hypothetically, say they charge 25, 30 or whatever it is, and say there was only 10,000 there. Now, 10,000 sounds like a lot, but if you put 10,000 into the Aviva, just to throw it out there, suddenly it's a soulless...
No,
you know what I mean? The atmosphere does not come across well at all. We've seen it with cup finals before. They've had 15,000. You know what I mean? So there's that part of it too. I think there'll be more personally, but I just thought I'd throw that in there.
No, yeah, exactly. But if people remember back to COVID when Bows was playing in the Aviva Stadium, we were really spaced out. You couldn't buy a ticket beside somebody. Like, you were so spaced out. You could hear our fans. You could hear the whole stadium. And I thought that was amazing. And I'm expecting that, if not better, this time around. Because we'll all be together, and it's going to be a really big spectacle. But Bows have the home advantage, so I don't know how it's going to work in regards to gate sales. I would imagine it might be something like a 70-30 split, because Rovers did agree to this. So you'd imagine
the Isle want to cut as well.
They want to cut. Rovers presumably would want to cut, and it's going to hopefully benefit both teams, I think. But it's going to be very interesting to see what number of tickets we sell. I think it'll sell a lot because it's the national stadium. There will be abundance of tickets. All the fans, the Bows.
One thing while you're there, actually, Daz, as well, to me head, because this is a debate as well. Bohemian season ticket holders and members have to... Their season tickets and membership is paid for the league season, isn't that right? And
yes.
And they get priority for maybe cup games and stuff like that.
Yes, that's right, yeah.
Now, they're going to have to pay again, aren't they? for this fixture. Isn't that right?
Yeah, no, that's controversial. A lot of fans are kind of not agreeing with that in a way, but we
Well,
actually
I can
have the
understand
option to
it. If
get.
I'm a member or season ticket holder, I can
Yeah,
understand their point of view there
and
that
like,
it's unfair that they have to pay again, I would suggest.
yeah, especially if you have a family and you've 2 or 3 people in your
Yeah.
family that may hold, there might be young adults or there might be kids, and now you
It
have to
probably
pay for
doesn't
them
apply to
again.
Shamrock Rovers, just in case people think we're not ignoring Rovers, just that Rovers aren't the designated home team, so
Yeah,
probably
they're
doesn't
not.
apply
Yeah,
to
so
them.
they would have to pay anyway, as if it was
Yeah,
in daily note. They're still
yeah,
paying
yeah, yeah.
to be there. But if you were a family and you've the wife or the husband to pay for, and you've got 2 or 3 kids to pay for, that's another cost and all of that.
Mm.
And then if you lived near Daily Mount, which a lot of fans probably presumably do, if you're from that
Mm.
area, you now have to travel to Aviva. So we have to get different car parking. It's
Mm.
very hard to park up there. Obviously, it's a lot more cost brought in, but they've actually given the option for a refund as well.
Mm.
So at least they did that. Like if you're someone who's
But I
struggling,
think they've done that knowing people won't look for the refund, really, let's be honest.
well, they're probably hoping that. But let me tell
Yeah.
you here and now, if we don't sign a left back and actually players in our positions, people should look for the refund. No, it's a joke. Like not to get into
Could
the
be a
playing side of
petition.
it, because we are strictly
If
talking
we
about
don't
Rovers
sign
goals
this
today.
player.
No, no, no. But like starting 2 years ago, without right back, joke. Starting last season with loads of nobodies, a joke. Like no, cut that. Don't even be doing that. If they are doing that, just everyone's right to ask for a refund. Or if we get absolutely spanked 5-0, I could see people looking for a refund.
It won't happen again. If they
Oh
get
well, how
spanked
you
5-0.
could
It's
like,
never
that's the
happening
thing.
again. What was I going to say to you? Yeah, a lot of people have said that it could be great exposure for the league. Now, I've heard that being said, but I would ask the question, what do people actually mean by that? What do you think that means? Like, what exposure does moving the game to another stadium, in essence, give to the league in reality? I'd question that personally.
Right. Well,
I'm not so sure.
when league season's opening and we have Rovers at home on the first game, say obviously this picture has been picked, but
It's
just say
going
it
to
was
get
pulled
that
out.
anyway, though, isn't it? If that was at Dalymount Park, it's still going to get the exposure the way the league
No.
is anyway. In
Well,
my view,
yeah,
I don't
but
necessarily think moving it to another stadium gives it more outside exposure. I should say that's the
no,
word I
no,
should
I
really
do,
be using.
I do. See, most of Bows' home games is sold out. You've got
Yeah.
I think it's 2,500
Mm.
members.
Mm.
You have about 1,300 season tickets. What are we on there now? 3,500, 4,000. The
So
rest then is a very limited supply of general tickets
yeah.
and an away fan. It's
Mm.
so hard to get a home ticket for a Bows. So if you're a fan who's a fan of Bows, you're not a season ticket member, you're not a member of the club, you're going to struggle to get a ticket to
Mm.
go to a match. But
Mm.
then even for the away matches, they're often sold out. Like
Mm.
I do be scrambling, thinking, right, it's Sligo away, it's Waterford away. I should be okay, but I'm still panicking in case I won't be okay because there's that much of a demand for tickets. Even though we finished 8 and 6 the season before that, still such a high demand. But now I get my point now, right?
Yeah.
The fact that it's going to be in the Aviva, this gives the chance to other people who go to the game, who ordinarily probably wouldn't get a chance to go to the game. It's going to
But
give
you're
fans.
talking about people that want to go to the game, though, that ordinarily wouldn't get a chance of going to the game, aren't you?
Absolutely, but other fans of the.
I'm talking about more so, and I agree with you 100% on that. 100% agree with you, and it gives yeah, exactly. But the angle I'm coming from is I don't necessarily think having the game at the Aviva in terms of outside exposure. Do you know what I
No, it
mean?
does. Right,
Why though? Tell me why.
I know people who don't support League of Ireland, but don't really put it down, but will say, I won't go to Talca, or I won't go to Dalymount, it's a dump, it's a kip, look at it. You couldn't bring your child into the toilet there to stay at the place. That's their attitude and thinking of it. They've never been, but that's
But
what they
surely
think.
going to a game at the Aviva isn't going to change your attitude of Talca Park or Dalymount Park or Richmond Park or
Yeah, but
wherever it
like
may
if all
be.
your mates are supporting Bows or Rovers and you go to the match with them and they win and you're seeing the buzz of it and it's your first time experiencing, you could get hooked and go, right, I'm going to give Rovers a chance next week. I'm going
Well,
to
they might go
go.
to Rovers because the facilities in Dallas Stadium are miles
Yeah, but
better. So maybe
but
that's where
like,
that's part of
no,
the
no,
reason
no, no, right?
Rovers agree to it. Incidentally, that
Well,
could be an
but
angle.
maybe
Yeah.
but like I don't really want to get into politics with Bows. I don't really agree with a lot of things they do, but a lot of things they do works commercially for the club.
Mm,
For example, like having refugees welcome on the shirt.
mm,
A lot of people bought that. The Bob Marley shirt. A lot of people
mm,
bought that. The Lizzie shirt.
mm.
A lot
Yeah.
of people bought that. People like Bows who are might not really love football, but like what we're about. They like our ideologies, like our thinking, our
Mm.
exposure, and That's brought some people into the club who ordinarily wouldn't have looked at the club or bought a jersey. But people could go to it and go, I actually really like Bohs. I want to go there next week. Go to it and really like it. Then they're looking up Dalymount and they're seeing the history that is steeped in it, how it used to hold 30, 40,000 people at one stage. How Ireland used to play there, how Muhammad Ali fought there, like just the history in general of the place, and fall in love with the place. And that's how fans get brought to the club.
This does though? What is the point apart from the obvious points of Bohemians from their perspective? By the way, this is not a Bohemians Shamrock Rovers thing. It's irrelevant the two clubs that are playing for me in my terms of my thoughts of the Aviva Stadium being used for a league match, let's say. But for Bohemians, obviously, and that's fine. I understand it 100%. No issue with that. It's an opportunity to make more money. Fair enough. No issue with that whatsoever. Just where I'm coming from again is that from maybe it's a romantic thing or an old-fashioned thing maybe as well. But I just feel the Aviva Stadium should be used for, if there's a cup to be won, if it's a massive European game, you've earned the right to be there.
Yeah, but we're not saying move to the Aviva Stadium, stay there every week and sell it.
But what do you think? What do you think happens then after this fixture? Do you think that's it? Do you think it happens again at some stage during the season?
I hope that's it. I hope that's it. I want to play Dalymount Park. That's the home of our club. That's where we play. It's where we have played for decades. That's where we play. That's our place. That's our home.
There is a possibility from Bo's point of view that they're looking at this and they're kind of saying, apart from the making money scenarios I mentioned here before, that they could be looking at this saying, we're going to have to be out of Dalymount Park for 2 seasons, maybe 3 seasons potentially.
Maybe 3, yeah.
Is there an opportunity? They may be thinking that maybe we could test this and see if we could push and move to the Aviva while we're away.
Yeah.
Or while we're away from Dalymount Park. Now, I don't know if that could work in terms of, you got rugby internationals and things like that and stuff as well, don't you? But maybe it's something in their psyche. They're thinking that maybe. And if they get, even though I mentioned the soulless thing earlier on, say if they're playing, Galway United and there's 7,000 there, and you might say, okay, it's a bit soulless, but they're still making more money from what they would if they're moving to Talca or Richmond or Morton Stadium or something.
I suppose we don't want what happened with Limerick 10 years ago when they were playing in, was that called Thomond Park?
Yeah.
I think it was called Thomond Park. Remember how empty that used to look? You're looking at it, you'd actually hear the players shouting and talking to each other at one stage.
Yeah.
That was soulless. There was no...
Well, in fairness though, I will throw in that it was Limerick was a bit different to Bohemians in terms of family.
Yeah, of course. But I'm just saying, for example, you don't want a situation where you're in a 50,000 seat capacity stadium and you're only selling 5,000 tickets, 10,000 tickets. But I still think 10,000 for a League of Ireland club is great. It's showing the growth of it. Like Rovers are getting that much.
It's gas, Daz, because you see sometimes Rovers have 6,000 Tallaght Stadium and people saying there's loads of empty seats, but there's still 6,000 people in there.
yeah, that's the thing. Say it takes 7,000 tickets to be sold to operate, run the Aviva and make a small profit. They could be testing it out to see how much will it take to run it, how much fans could we get, is it viable, is that possible? Because they can present this back to the Aviva and go, right, look, we sold this many tickets for that one fixture. We predict we might sell X amount against this team. And then that'll make up for the fixtures where they probably won't sell a lot. Yeah. For example, maybe Derry. I know,
but they say even if they didn't sell a lot, they'd still be selling more than they'd sell at the other stadiums they were potentially moving to be honest with you.
And it could be because we have brought it up at members' meetings. Like, where are we going to play? And they haven't given us an answer. They don't know. They don't really know. I just think it's a really good opportunity in terms. That's what I mean about the exposure. Like, you're going to bring new fans in. Like, it's going to be, it's a Aviva Stadium. It's our national stadium. It's where, all the big matches happen. But just going back to your point there about it being a spectacle, earning the right to play there. Like, I get all that. I fully get all that. And that's what you want. You want players to be playing cup finals. You want players to be winning leagues. Going up.
Big European games, no problem either. Like, if you're in the right, but for me, I don't know. It's just I hope it goes well, and more than likely I'll be there as well because regardless of the stadium, I mean, it's Bohs and Rovers in the opening day of the season, so I'd probably
That's it,
But and I hope it goes well, and I hope some of my points I'm proven wrong to myself. I've no problem saying, "Oh, I was wrong, and it was actually worked well, and it was better." I've no problem, but I just would have a few. I don't know if grievances is the word, but a few. I'm just a bit unsure in terms of some of the hype and the exposure thing. I'm still a little bit unsure about that, to be honest, which, as I mentioned before, I'm a little bit unsure how much proper exposure it really gets. And one thing I will say is as well, I hope there's no trouble at the game, because if there's trouble at this particular game, particularly because at the Aviva, the media will jump all over it as well.
Oh yeah, they will. Yeah,
That's a worry to me in that
for
sense as
sure.
well. So no doubt the security costs will be high. I don't know what way that'll work. Do Bows have to cover all the security costs? I'm not too sure. Maybe the
Yeah,
FAI will
yeah,
agree to. Maybe Shamrock Rovers will come in on that as well. I don't know. But look, I'm sure they've all talked about this, etc., and all that kind of thing. But that would be a little concern for me there as well. And as I said, just Valentine's weekend, I hope it. A lot of people say it will sell out on the Sunday. If it sells out, brilliant. I know a lot of tickets probably be given to schools and that, so that would probably help give it, you know what I mean, in that scenario. But I don't know if it really ultimately gets exposure from people that are non out of the League of Ireland family. Obviously, you're going to get more people in stadium, as in Bows fans who wouldn't get a ticket for the Daily Man fixture. I get that. That's going to happen clearly. But I mean, just an ordinary fan, I'm not sure if you see too many. You'll see tourists. That's
yeah.
fine.
But
But ordinary,
any more fans is good. It's
yeah.
better
Oh
than
yeah,
none.
yeah. But
If this stayed in Dalymount, which I still would have obviously loved and
mm,
would not have minded
mm,
whatsoever. But if this strictly
mm,
stayed in Dalymount, there's not a chance there's going to be
mm,
any new fans at. Not a chance. And if people, I've brought people to matches and they've got
mm.
hooked on it, and now to go every week, or they try and go every week, or they're looking for
Just on
tickets.
another one there on the football aspect of it from that Bowes situation. Um, do you not think, and that's it, Bowes could turn up and beat them at the Aviva Stadium, but just say Bowes lose the game at the Aviva
Uh,
Stadium. Just say they do lose the game at the Aviva Stadium, Shamrock Rovers. Do Bowes fans not look at that afterwards and kind of gone, you know, maybe we could have beaten them at Dalymount. We've beaten them twice at Dalymount last year, and even when we're not playing well at Dalymount, we seem to have this thing often over Shamrock Rovers. You know, will there be a little bit of that comes into it? I wonder from a Bulls perspective. And then it looks like Jesus, you're hype kind of dropping 3 points for money basically. I don't know.
yeah,
It's a
no,
sporting
like it
aspect as
could
well.
be. Like if we do lose and
Mm.
lose badly, lose well.
Lose it all,
If we do
really.
lose, it will be put out there. The last two times we played it in Dano, we won. We won well. We put them out of the cup. We
Mm.
won them in the league. That will be a thing, and people will
Yeah,
say that.
yeah.
But it's going to be a completely new team. It's going to be a completely different team.
Look, we'll leave it there, Daz. I'd be interested to see what people think in the comments. Actually, if anyone's watching this who isn't the League of Ireland fan, actually, let us know and let us know your thoughts
Ooh,
on it. That'd be interesting, Daz. I don't know
let
if
us know if you
anyone
want to
would be
go.
watching it who aren't League of Ireland fans, but if you're a League of Ireland fan, let us know what you think in the comments. No doubt people will agree with Daz and agree with me. I'd say more will agree with you, Daz, to be fair, but it'd be interesting to
I
see.
don't
And
know now.
keep the comments respectful as well, to be fair as well. But yeah, no, but just be interested because this is see some things online where it's a lot of people that are non-Bows or Rovers seem to be disagree with it, and then Rovers and Bows fans are agreeing with it. From my point of view, that stuff doesn't bother me at all. I just have my own opinion and thought, and this could be shells and pats, and I'd be saying the exact same thing, being honest with you. But be interesting to see what people think in the comments. Let us know. Subscribe if you haven't already. And again, if you're not a League of Ireland fan, let us know down in the comments. Thanks very much. Thanks, Daz. Good stuff.
Cheers, Keith.